Now we're going.
What are you doing?
Do you hear that?
Yeah, I don't like it. Stop.
Do you hear it?
Yeah, stop.
Do you know what it is?
I can see what you're doing. And
It's my mustache, you idiot!
I know. Stop.
I have a thirst and it cannot be quenched. Actually, this is a disgusting feeling.
You know how to quench your thirst?
With a nice, cool, crisp Mountain Dew from Christmas time.
Yeah, because the stores can't sell it because it sucks too much.
Man, I feel like my mustache is all, what's the word? Full of a static electricity now. I'm
Well,
electrified.
I'm Mr. Electric.
Welcome back to maybe the real podcast was the friends we made along the way.
You know, maybe the real podcast.
Was the friends we made along the way. So I have learned this week that was a terrible title to decide because making all of the social media platforms, it takes about 30 minutes just to type the title out, and most of the places don't even accept it. YouTube, we have a YouTube channel now. You should go check us out. It's maybe the real podcast, I think. So yeah, we are at maybe the real podcast on YouTube because YouTube would not let us do maybe the real podcast was the friends we made along the way because there's too many characters.
If you go to Twitter, you can follow us at maybe the podcast because Twitter has this great thing called a character limit.
I could have sworn like a year and a half ago everybody's names were Danny2215XXX7409XXX2. That's a lot more than maybe the real. Okay, maybe not. But maybe the real podcast really isn't that many.
I mean, if you count spaces, that's a lot of characters.
It's so dumb. We're also on Facebook. I think we're actually maybe the real podcast was the friends we made along the way. As of right now on, what is today? Friday, March 27th, 2020. We are not on Apple Podcasts because we are still under review.
Apparently, we're not cool enough for Apple.
Apparently they got to send it to Steve Jobs himself to review it, and he's too busy being dead to tell us if it's good.
Well, now that you said that, they're never going to let us on Apple Podcasts. So.
They just have to, they open up the sarcophagus and they thaw him out, and he goes, oh,
it's good.
Yeah, this is okay. We could post, they could have it on there.
This is Daniel editing from the future, recording through my computer's microphone, and we are now actually on Apple Podcasts. So ignore everything we just said.
What did I get? Oh, I got a Snapchat from my boy. I can't say his name. Oh, he enjoyed my Imagine cover that I posted on our Facebook channel. Facebook page.
That's a perfect segue into bad things that are happening in social media and music, and it's just awful.
That's the actual title of the segment, but we're not there yet because I got to plug this a little more. On our Facebook page and maybe our Twitter if anybody starts following it, we've got a video posted where I'm singing a cover of Imagine, but with correct communist lyrics that I found on the Babylon Bee website. But he said that was very nice, and what are the chords? And I'm going to ignore him until after we're done podcasting.
Leave him on red.
I'm going to leave him on red.
I'm the king of leaving people on red, so...
Oh, yeah, you are. Speaking of things that are terrible, there's been a lot of bad stuff happening this week that isn't not drugs. that isn't the virus that is COVID-19.
Along with the virus being very contagious, infecting a lot of people, and killing a lot of people, it's also giving people the idea that they can sing. Because if you're not caught up on social media happenings, a bunch of celebrities took little 5-second snippets on Snapchat of them singing Imagine by John Lennon. And like every 5 seconds it switches to a different celebrity.
It's like every line in the song, yeah.
Every line's a different person singing it, which, you know, in theory sounds kind of cool, but when you realize that 75% of them can't sing at all, And
And 25% of them can, and they brag about it.
and every time it switches lines in the song, they're singing in a different key.
Oh man, and tempo. Some of them are really bad too. Like Natalie Portman, she just goes, "It isn't hard to do," or something like. It's just like there's no pitch. It's just her going. Mark Ruffalo's really bad too. He's like, "Imagine there's no heaven."
But could you blame I mean, he's the Incredible Hulk. He's not supposed to sing.
He could try a little harder with all the social activism he does. He could learn to sing instead. Also, this morning I'm in a Facebook page group thing. I'm new to this Facebook group thing, and I just keep joining them like every other day during this whole quarantining thing, and I'm turning into a boomer, and it's scary. But Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh boy, here we go.
I don't even like. I knew the name, and I was like, "Oh, that kind of sounds cool." It's like a punk band or something,
I
right?
had to tell him that, like, no, Machine Gun Kelly's a rapper who tried to diss Eminem once, and it was kind of a stupid.
Oh,
yeah,
you're
it's that guy.
right. Oh,
He tried
okay.
writing. So yeah, Machine Gun Kelly was the guy who him and Eminem had gotten into like a beef like a year ago or so, and then they both wrote diss tracks for each other, and Eminem had this really cool diss track. And then Machine Gun Kelly's, he didn't even write himself. So
Oh, so he cheated. I mean, I don't care either way.
yeah,
but
I
also that's kinda
don't
funny.
care either. But I just think the whole thing was kind of stupid and silly.
But him and some guy covered a song by Paramore. So like a punk band. It's a female singer though, singing about wanting to date a guy, and then
It's misery business.
Yeah, but I mean, for people that don't know, she's singing about, man, I would really like to date this dude, but he's dating someone else.
And then he
they-
finally gets him, and then she's like,
Yeah.
"I'm not trying to brag, but
She's like, man, I'm better than you because I have this boy now. And it's like, okay, it's kind of a good song, but
it's catchy."
they covered it, and the drummer's really good, but he shows off the whole video.
The drummer's good. Machine Gun Kelly, if he's playing his own guitar, it's not bad
It was good up until the chorus. It's like, oh, this is kind
because he was singing. He was singing, and then all of a sudden, it's like they get to the chorus and they hit all the switches on the auto-tune button, and he sings really badly.
Except he doesn't even sing. So, if you're not familiar with the actual song, and the chorus hits, and she goes, "Whoa," 2 notes, "Whoa," and he goes, "Whoa," exactly like that. Except there's also the auto-tune warble, so it's like, "Whoa," and it's terrible. But like the rest of the song isn't bad. The 2 verses are pretty good, but also it's kind of rappy, so it makes sense that he would be good at that. It's just like really fast words with not a lot of time to actually hear the pitch. But it was.
It progressively gets worse and worse as it
the
goes.
auto-tune progressively gets worse. It's like listening to a microwave sing the song.
And then we listened to an acoustic cover by Haley Williams, who's the
Well, no, it was the actual band.
Well, the
just
whole
doing
band,
it
yeah.
acoustically, and it was really good.
yeah.
Speaking of more bad things we experienced this week.
Is this something we listened to? Because
Oh no, well, I mean, technically we'll listen to part of it, but I was gonna talk about how we finally finished the Garlic Jr. saga.
Oh man.
So,
So basically, we sat through these 8 episodes,
well, I think it was like 10. We talked about it last week, and I thought we were done. Like,
and no, there were like 3 or 4 more episodes left.
he told me there was one left.
Okay,
and it
and-
just kept going.
My okay, that's on me, but also I haven't watched this in succession for like a few years. So
It's just before this, the couple of like the saga before this was really good and really entertaining, and then it just totally stops. The villain is boring. The main character is not in it at all. The short bald guy gets a girlfriend for like an episode, and then they break up, and then no, they're together the whole thing.
yeah, and then he
but
breaks up with her, and then she comes back in the next saga and wants him back.
and it's all just like, it's really dumb. It's like nobody actually cares.
I think part of the problem is, if you're thinking about the whole Dragon Ball Z storyline, they went from Frieza, who is like one of the biggest villains in like any, and like if you say Frieza like to anybody who's watched any anime, they know of it. Even if they haven't watched the show, they know who Frieza is.
Yeah, so if you see somebody in Walmart that smells bad and you walk up to them and you go, "Hey, do you know who Frieza is?" They'll go, "Frieza? I know who Frieza is." That's, yeah, so he's a little famous to those kinds of people. They know who Frieza is, but not who...
Deodorant.
I was going to say Mr. Clean, but I don't know if that's a deodorant brand.
No, it's like bleached cleaner.
Arm & Hammer has a deodorant, and that's weird because it's
Crumbly.
cooking.
Yeah, well, it's
or
baking soda.
Baking soda.
Yeah.
It's like, but
Anyway,
they go for fighting the main villain of the whole story, and he gets
to a villain that was so bad, they decided, yeah, these 10 episodes, they didn't happen. They don't exist in this canon, so just ignore this.
and he wouldn't let me skip them. I said, "Can we skip these episodes?" And you said, "No, there's only like 1 or 2 more," and there was
You know
like
what?
4 more.
That was going to bother me internally if I was like, once we got to the end and you'd be like, oh, we watched the entire thing and be like, no, we didn't. We skipped 10
but
episodes.
you could skip the 10 episodes and not miss anything.
Also true, but it's
There's no actual impact on the story at all, whether or not you watch those 10 episodes.
we don't know where Icarus came from.
I don't care where Icarus came from. It's Icarus first showed up then. I didn't even.
I think that's in a movie.
Oh, because I was gonna say I didn't even pay attention to that. But yeah, it was terrible, and now we're on to the next.
The
thing.
Trunk Saga, the Android Saga, and it's good.
A guy named after a pair of pants or a pair of shorts,
Mhm.
and but there's time travel and all kinds of stuff, and it's actually really entertaining again. After we got past the season or the group of episodes that we named after a
There's-
subpar spice flavor.
There's time travel. There's violence. There's robots.
Violence is literally all I needed in my life to watch something and keep me entertained. Like the original Clone Wars is
Oh, yeah.
literally just the first season is just 5-minute episodes of people beating each other up with lightsabers and the Force and with guns. There's barely any story, but it's the coolest thing ever because they're just beating the snot out of each other.
Yep.
It keeps me entertained.
Which, I mean, it is entertaining because when we went to go see the screening of Death and Return of Superman, every time the theater was empty enough because we went on a Monday night.
And nobody cares about the movie.
We went on a Monday night, and the theater was empty enough that we wouldn't annoy anybody. So every time it got, violent, we would just start chanting
Violence, violence. Which is really the whole entire. The Death of Superman is literally just an hour-long fight.
It's Superman and Doomsday beating the snot out of each other.
I'm pretty sure, Doomsday starts murdering people like in the first 10 minutes, and then it's just fighting for the rest of the. It's great.
The entire Justice League gets beat. Oh my gosh, the entire Justice League gets beat up.
It's awesome. I'm still surprised Batman didn't die, but that's okay. We
They
gotta
would-
keep him alive because
Yeah.
he would beat Superman.
Yeah, in any circumstance, realistically.
Speaking of Batman, Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Batman. Actually, there's the Batman
Versus the
versus the Ninja Turtles, which is also a pretty clickbaity title because they only fight for about 5 minutes.
And then they
That's-
work their differences out, and
But
they're all friends.
It's so good, and we're
It is
gonna
good.
watch it because right now we are currently watching every single Ninja Turtle movie, and we're gonna talk about it in the next week's episode.
Hopefully, if we get through them all, which we should.
We should be able to. We just watched the 2 Michael Bay ones, which is the most recent ones.
The ones that have the worst critical reception.
I mean, they're about the same throughout, but they're really ugly. Like the Ninja Turtles just look like guys who are on steroids, but also have like a rare skin disease.
But also, what did you think Mutant Ninja Turtles would look like in real life?
I figured they'd look smooth like they did in the 90s. But we're not going to talk any more about those because we're already ruining our content for the next week's episode.
Yeah.
But they're good, and we're going to watch more of them. But what we did watch, we didn't watch it. We listened to this week after promising to last week was the, here I got it in my notes.
Coming out of their shells.
Coming out of their shells.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle album, and might I say, after listening to my first impression after listening to it was they had about every genre of 90s music in there. There was rap, there was rock, there was hip hop funk,
It was like ballads.
there was a ballad.
You made the smart decision though. You listened to it while taking a shower, so that way when you threw up during some of these songs, it would just go right down the drain. I was sitting at this table and I had nowhere to puke.
You had to hold it in.
That was a little over exaggerated. It was okay.
The songs were hit or miss, and by the end of the album, it was all miss. they were all bad.
Yeah, the last half of the album isn't great, especially because I listened to it on the cassette tape. You flip it over, and that backside is just all pretty much miss. I did a little bit of research, but not a lot because I don't want to actually do homework for this. But I looked it up, and I was wrong. It wasn't like a Happy Meal toy for Pizza Hut. You had to spend $4 to buy it at Pizza Hut. It was $3.99 to buy there. A $12.99. What's the word?
Pizza?
No, it's like $12.99 value, but they're selling it for $3.99. I watched an ad for it. So it was they went on tour, and so they went to different places and they did this live show.
Imagine if the Wiggles dressed up as turtles and did a show. That's what it was.
But oh man, the costumes are really creepy looking. But we kind of talked about that before. But
it's also on Apple Music.
It is.
If you want to look it up, it's just called "Coming Out of Our Shells" by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So I already owned this on the cassette tape, but I also bought it on iTunes this week just for this, and then I didn't even listen to it on iTunes. So that was a waste of $10. But now I have it to torture everybody with when I drive the car. When I drive the van, I mean. I'm burping again, but I don't want to do it in the mic.
So the title track, "Coming Out of Our Shells," it's acoustic-y.
It's like a Christian 80s
Yeah,
ballad.
it's weird.
It sounds like weirdly...
It's kind of on par with Petra. Not gonna
Yeah, it's kind of Petri-y, honestly. So I have written in all capital letters, no saxophone.
because Raphael's supposed to play the
plays
freaking saxophone.
And the saxophone is in one song in this album, and it's weird and disjointed and like not on the beat at the beginning. But for my notes on this beginning song, the song is about how the Ninja Turtles have been writing music in the sewers for like a while now, and they're just now going to share it they're going to give it to the world so everybody can listen to it and see how great it is. They're coming out of their shells both literally and metaphorically. Like, caca, here's our music, and they should have stayed in their shells, honestly.
Yeah, I found it weird. There's 10 tracks on this album, and track 8, which is titled Cowabunga, and it's supposed to be sung by Michelangelo, is the first song where they ever say their names as the Turtles. Like, the entire album pretty much references they're the Ninja Turtles
Vaguely.
very vaguely. It isn't until track 8 of 10 that you can for sure say, oh, these are the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense because they're doing a live show with these songs, so you'd have somebody go, "Welcome the Ninja Turtles to the stage." But if you have your kid in the car and you're listening to this album for them, or maybe they don't even know what they're listening to and they won't know it's a Ninja Turtle album until way later. Something that's weird. They should introduce themselves because which one was it? Throwing Stones, Tossing Stones, Skipping Stones. The fourth song on the album is sung by Splinter, but there's no preface. There's no whatever. It doesn't tell you that it's sung by him. So you go from all these poppier 80s sounding songs with all these energetic singers, and you get to this one, and this guy comes up and he goes, "Skipping stones, been skipping stones," and it's literally just a song about even though life changes, you can continue to skip stones on the water. In the middle of a Ninja Turtle album.
Unless you get your arms cut off.
It's this is one of the only songs on the album where there's no references at all to it being part of a Ninja Turtle thing. So you could listen to this without context and have no idea.
What about track 6, Walk Straight? Are there any Ninja Turtle references in that?
No, they talk about you don't have to mutate. They talk about being mutated turtles.
Oh, okay.
So, Walk Straight
Which is also the worst song on the album.
It's terrible. It's the only song with saxophone. The intro is awful. The saxophone entrance sounds offbeat almost. It's just kind of out. The whole intro is just disjointed and awful sounding. And the whole lyrics are about you don't gotta be a Ninja Turtle to be a good boy. You can do things good on your own. And it's just oh yeah. At that moment, you remember that this is an album and this is a live experience written for a 10-year-old boy and not for the general audience.
Well, also, that lyric is stupid in itself. It's yeah, I know I can be good and not be a Ninja Turtle. How many people do you know that are Ninja Turtles?
Every good person that has ever existed up until this point has secretly been a Ninja Turtle.
Deep down inside, we're all Ninja Turtles.
Maybe the real Ninja Turtles was the friends we made along the way.
Wow.
But yeah, Walk Straight is terrible. So what else did I have written down? Okay, so I actually had the cassette tape with the lyric booklet fold out thing in it, and I was following along to the album, and it's almost never right. A lot of it's just like inconsequential stuff. Like they'll say, "Yo, I'm from New York," but the lyric says, "Yo, I am from New York." It's just like a slight different from "I'm" and "I am." But some of it, there's the Cowabunga where they rap about every single Ninja Turtle. There's a verse in the lyric booklet that's not in the song at all. Like it just completely skips over it. And there's another verse that's just totally wrong compared to what he raps. There's not a single word that's the same. I don't understand. Like people are paying money for this and they couldn't even put the right words in.
I mean, you get what you pay for. It was like a $4 cassette tape from Pizza Hut.
I mean, it also really makes me uncomfortable that they refer to themselves as the Gang of Green.
Gangrene.
Uh-huh. That's really what the brand you want to be comparing yourself to.
Well, that just gave me flashbacks to the Powerpuff Girls because there's a gang called the Gangrene Gang. Yeah, it's kind of nasty, but
the Ninja Turtles are the good guys, so why would they want you to think of a disease where your blood doesn't go to your appendages and they fall off? That's disgusting.
I mean, what else do you got? What else do you have on it?
I have lots of notes actually. For second song I just have cheesy and bad. The second song is called Sing About It, and it's literally just the Ninja Turtles saying, no matter what you're feeling right now, sing about it. There might not be any drums, but you can still sing about it. You're like, oh yeah, this is like PBS level quality.
Wow, that's how I remember the Ninja Turtles handling all their problems was singing about it.
Is there a terrorist trying to turn everybody in the whole entire New York into like giant rat monster men? Sing about it.
Giant alien brain with a technodrome thing trying to take over the world.
Sing about it. A deadly virus trying to kill everybody in the United States and world. Sing about it. That's the cure for everything, is singing about it. Number 3 is, what's it called? Tubin. So it's a song about surfing in the... It's a song about surfing in the sewer, which immediately is disgusting because they're surfing in human excrement.
Which, I mean, it's the Ninja Turtles. They've always done that.
But just like, oh, it's disgusting. Like, because normally in the movies, there's never actually anything in the sewer. It's just water.
Mm-hmm.
But just when I heard this song, I immediately imagined them surfing on this big wave of just like diarrhea. And it just, it really killed the song and my appetite. Although the song also kind of just killed my appetite in general. Some standout lyrics were, who needs the sun when your skin is green? And in the song, they yell surfing on the sewer side, and they do not enunciate the R enough. So it sounds like he's going, surfing on the suicide. And then he even yells, suicide. I was like, oh.
Like they're saying suicide,
not
sewer side.
That's a really good way to get a parent to hear that album and go, they say suicide, you could never listen to this, and ruining some kid's childhood because they couldn't pronounce the R, so they would sound more urban.
But how
is the sewer side like a third gang compared to the east and the west side?
My question is, whose childhood is going to be completely ruined because they didn't get to listen to this?
My childhood was completely ruined because of the Ninja Turtles being taken away from me.
I listened to this 4 hours ago and it ruined my adult life.
But you were not a child. When you're a child, you don't care if things are bad. I loved the Ninja Turtles, and my parents took them away from me because I would go around breaking things in the house pretending I was a ninja when I'd watch it.
Well, that's stupid. You don't do that.
I still do that.
You do what my parents did and get the action figures and make them karate chop each other. I have so many Ninja Turtles.
I have Ninja Turtle action figures, though.
I have Ninja Turtle walkie-talkies. They're just like action figures that look like Raphael and Leonardo.
With holes in their chest.
Yeah, and you put one of their arms up because those are the antennas.
Looks like you shot Leonardo in the chest with a shotgun.
And you talk into him, and they're just a giant, very... What's the word?
Walkie-talkies?
Well, yeah, but I forgot the word.
That's okay.
Not practical.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely not practical. I think it was Leonardo, and his mask, I think either I chewed on it or we got it at a garage sale that was chewed on, and it was sharp, and it would stab and cut you because there's this chunk of plastic just hanging. He was dangerous. And I had a shredder that I had, like, duct taped two pieces of broken paperclip tube so we would actually have blades, and I cut myself on the stinking Ninja Turtle more than the Shredder.
I had a Shredder action figure from like the early 2000s cartoon that was on like 4Kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like really cool action figure, and I lost one of his arms. So it was just a socket. And so from like the top of his shoulder to like his bicep, after that there's nothing. So I just said his arm was a cannon.
How do
he
you
shot cannonballs.
How do you lose an arm?
I don't know. I was 6. Speaking of losing things, so you know how I was looking for my DS games? And I said I couldn't find my copy of Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks.
I didn't know you had that, but yeah.
It was like my favorite DS game as a kid. I asked my brother about like where it was, and he for some reason remembers this because I don't. He said, "Oh yeah, the dog chewed that up years ago." So
I believe it. Your dog ate a bath bomb like a week ago, so
he didn't eat it though.
Oh, you're right. We thought he ate it.
He ate a bar of soap once.
That's disgusting. I think I did too. No. Back to the song. Number 5 is Pizza Power, where the whole song is just them singing about how eating pizza makes them strong, which at first you're like, oh, that's pretty on brand with Ninja Turtles. This album was sponsored by Pizza Hut.
It was
literally
a plug.
Song ad for pizza.
They advertised to us without our consent.
Eating pizza will make you strong and help you fight bad guys instead of making you obese. Apparently I've been eating pizza wrong all this time because I am not strong and ready to fight ninjas.
Well, there's no Pizza Hut in town anymore, so maybe...
There's pizza. I'm eating pizza from that strange gas station that I'm not sure is totally legal.
But you also said it's like the greasiest pizza you've ever eaten in your life.
So good. It gives me pizza power. And by pizza power, I mean diarrhea.
Speaking of bad food, I've got some bad food for you.
What's bad food? We'll come back to this because I got some more lyrics written down that I think are great.
So this is my little food review I'm going to do here because I feel like I need to get this off my chest.
Don't you mean out of your colon?
I'll get to that.
Go.
Whatever you do not get the Double Mac from McDonald's. It is a marketing ploy. It's a ripoff. It will destroy your insides.
It's a Big Mac, but there's 4 patties instead of 2.
But if you look at the side, McDonald's, obviously, they're a billion-dollar company. They have great marketing people.
Yeah, their sandwiches look good, and I don't even like lettuce.
You look at the size of you see the burger in ads, and you're like, that looks huge compared to... So I got it the other day. So I got a Double Mac with a large fry and a large Coke.
Yep.
Which is the only way you should eat McDonald's food is with a large fry and a large Coke.
Or a large Sprite.
Or Sprite.
Large Coke, a large Sprite. You can't have anything else.
So I get this burger, and so I go back to where I was eating it at the house, and I open the bag. My first thought of something's not right here is that this Double Mac, which is supposed to be bigger than a Big Mac, came in a regular sized box.
Ooh. False advertisement.
So I'm like, okay. So my first thought was like, this is either just going to be a ripoff or it's going to be squished down really bad. It was the former, not the latter, because it was bad. You look at this burger and you think, okay, well, there's 2 extra patties. The patties are smaller. So, like, you're still getting maybe 2 regular-sized patties worth of meat, but they just put 4 smaller patties on there.
So they're cheating.
So you have bun, patty, bun, patty, bun.
That could have been the beat for one of the rap songs on
Bun,
the album.
patty, bun, patty.
So you're saying it wasn't worth the extra $3?
No, it wasn't, but I'm not even done ranting about this yet.
We'll continue to rant. I'm sorry.
So, like, you know how you can go to the grocery store and you can buy just, like, bags of lettuce?
Yeah.
They put, like, a whole bag of lettuce on it.
That's disgusting. Lettuce is disgusting. If you're going to eat grass, go be a cow, you stupid vegan. Continue.
So, this burger is, it's like, it's pretty much like licking a live cow because it's covered in grass. Except it's a skinny cow because there's not that much meat on it.
Ooh, so it's like the ones from...
And if you bathed a skinny cow that was covered in grass in Thousand Island dressing...
Oh!
Because whatever...
That's their new slogan. Skinny cow bathed in Thousand Island dressing.
It was like...
Only $3 extra.
It was saturated. It was soaked into the bun.
Moist.
Yes, my burger was moist and disappointing.
You know what's...
So I have this burger and I eat it. I'm like, you know what? That was about as filling as a regular Big Mac, and I don't have to pay almost $10.
eat a regular Big Mac meal.
I mean, granted, I did get a large meal, and like $2 of that is my fries, which, by the way, is another rip-off of McDonald's because the fries cost them nothing to make.
But they're good.
Yes, they are delicious.
So I think it's a give and take. I'm willing to pay the price for the fries because their drinks are only $1. You go to Taco Bell and get a large drink, and it's like you have to sell your soul and one of your organs that aren't
And your
totally
firstborn
necessary.
child.
Your firstborn child, your soul, and one of your non-essential organs to get a large drink.
Yeah.
And it's not even that good. We bought 3 24-packs of Baja Blast, which is
Because
Taco
they were
Bell.
on sale $5 a piece. I'm like, I got to get like 3 of those.
And I am sick of it. It's not that good compared to just regular Mountain Dew.
I really don't care because to me, Mountain Dew's, I mean, I have my favorite Mountain Dews, but
Yeah, I have my favorite Mountain Dews too. And like, I don't hate it, but I'm definitely sick of it. It's
kind of
definitely
like how we bought Liberty Brew and we're like, this isn't as good as we thought it was.
Not as good as we thought it was. It's too sweet. But
So yeah, don't get the double Mac. It's not worth the extra money. I mean, just get a regular Big Mac, or better yet, just don't.
better yet, you could do what I did if you want to get lots and lots of burger and to fill you up. I just recently had what I am calling the McPounder. This is great. So I had a coupon, thanks to my boss, that you scan or they punch or whatever, and you buy a meal and you get a free sandwich from that meal free. I just said free twice. So like you buy a Filet-O-Fish meal and you get another free Filet-O-Fish sandwich.
But nobody buys Filet-O-Fishes unless they're over.
Filet-O-Fishes are
Unless you're over 60 years old, you
or
don't.
my mom. If you're listening, stop buying Filet-O-Fishes.
You can get the same thing in the freezer section at a grocery store.
And they're probably better. But I got a double quarter pounder meal, so it came with another double quarter pounder. So if you're bad at math at home and went to public schools like I did, this might be a little confusing, so I'll break it down for you. A quarter pounder is 1/4 of a pound. So a double quarter pounder would just be a half pounder. I don't know why it's called a double quarter pounder, but whatever. So I got 2 half pounders. So if you use math and you think about half plus half, that's a whole pound. So I got a whole pound of cheese or a whole pound of beef. I kept one of the buns on there, so it looked like a giant Big Mac. It was it was bun, burger, burger, bun, burger, burger, bun, or patty, patty, or whatever you said. But it was a full pound of meat, and it didn't fit in my mouth, and it was really greasy.
And it was dripping.
And it was dripping, and it was saturated and moist, and it was so good. Even the pain I was in the next day as it came out was worth it.
You know, every time that you're in pain from like eating something, like in general, I'm like 50-50. I'm like, okay, did you do that to yourself knowing it would hurt? Or is this something that just your stomach hurts?
Why is it that the things that we love the most end up hurting us the most?
You talking about your girl troubles, or?
I'm talking about the fact that I'm addicted to cheese and I'm allergic to dairy.
Oh yeah. So this is the same guy that is very allergic to dairy, and he bought himself an entire gallon bucket of ice cream and has eaten all of it to himself.
That was my Valentine's Day present to myself, and it was delicious. Thank you very much.
And I'm not allowed to have any.
No, he tried to eat some of my Valentine's thing that I got for myself while at Walmart on Valentine's Day with him and his girlfriend. And he's like, "Can I have some of that?" It's like, "No, I don't have a girlfriend. I get ice cream because that's fair."
Let's cut that out, Hal.
No, we're not cutting it out. We're leaving it in. It's beautiful. It's good. It's good content, and plus we get to say that you have a girlfriend, so my grandma doesn't think we're gay anymore.
Are you cutting that out?
No, I'm not cutting that out. I'm slightly angry, and she won't listen long enough to hear me say that. So half of the people that listened to the last episode of the podcast were pretty much just my family.
We have statistics on this.
We have statistics, but there's 8% of our total listening was people between the ages of like 60 and 150, and they were all female. And I found out it was my grandma, and she only listened to half and stopped because she thought we sounded like we were a gay couple. I'm just slightly perturbed that our friendship has been taken the wrong way by my grandmother.
That makes me wonder, has anybody else thought that before?
Literally everybody at the school thinks that, but that's okay, because I know in my heart that you're pretty ugly.
I don't know. In my heart, I could do better.
Yeah, you can. I have a mustache now.
A mustache.
I have a mustache now, and it looks like I shouldn't be allowed within a 3-mile radius of an elementary school.
Moving on.
Moving on. Oh, actually, we could move back because I had some notes.
Oh,
that
yeah,
I was
more.
excited to talk about on this album.
And then
Ninja
I
Turtle
just
album.
took it and went off a rant about McDonald's.
So, my favorite two mistakes in the lyrics compared to what they actually say is in Pizza Power, they say don't, but in the lyrics it says Donatello. So it's Donatello apostrophe T 2 times, but they just say don't in the song.
Donatello do not.
Donatello instead of don't. I thought that was incredibly stupid, but you know, I guess I'm not writing music for 12-year-old boys, so I guess I wouldn't know. Maybe that's what kids are into these days, is reading a really long fake word, but not actually hearing it in the song. Also, in No Treaties, the song about the Ninja Turtles fighting a war, and not, so no treaties, so they're just gonna murder you?
They're just not going to stop beating the crap out of you.
They're running around trying to save the city, and they see you mugging somebody, and they just kill you. No treaties. We're fighting a war.
That sounds very Batman-y, but even...
Batman doesn't kill. I don't understand it. But the lyrics is can feel that. So they say Shredder can feel the heat. But in the lyrics, in the booklet, it says can feel that he. What does that even mean? Can feel that he what? That he was gaining weight? That he was going to lose the battle? That maybe this was all in his dreams because he was fighting large 6-foot-tall men that actually are turtles?
That maybe the real turtles...
Were the friends we made along the way? But, yeah. That was really all I had for the lyrics. I was just like, what is Donatello? And at the end of Cowabunga, they apologize for how long the song is. And so,
It's not even that long of a song.
But also, I'm glad that they actually apologized because I felt like I deserved an apology.
The song is 4 minutes and 13 seconds. That's a pretty average song.
I felt like I deserved an apology after listening to that song.
So to recap, we encourage you to check this out and share in our pain.
It's not terrible, but it's definitely not good.
No, it's not. It's not good at all.
It was. I'm glad that I listened to it because
it's a ploy. It's a ploy to sell toys and get people to watch the show
and to buy Pizza Hut pizza sponsored. But it's good to say that I actually listened to it because I like the Ninja Turtles.
I've watched Ninja Turtles since as long as I can remember, so it's it's definitely a different take on the Ninja Turtles.
I have such like a fever dream of watching there was like an old lady at my church that would just give me random VHS tapes of the old cartoon episodes.
I have so many of those.
I don't remember any of them except this one where this entire building fills up with popcorn. And then my VHS tape got really staticky, and then I never actually saw the ending. So, like, I've never seen the ending of that episode, and I've never seen the ending of The Wizard of Oz.
Huh.
We have a taped version of The Wizard of Oz from TV. It's back when we used to tape things on the TV.
Which nobody's done that since, like, the 90s, so...
It cuts out, and we never finished it. And so I don't know... Well, I know how it ends, but I've never actually seen the ending of The Wizard of Oz. And also, the only other movie... We have done that since the 90s, because Drake and Josh had a movie. And
Is it the one where they hit Oprah?
No, that was the TV show. In the movie, they accidentally put...
Because there's a Christmas one, too.
They put their sister on the wrong plane, and she goes to L.A. instead of her friend's house or something.
Is that how iCarly starts?
No.
Did she get kidnapped by Crazy Steve? And that's actually Spencer and Carly?
While they're in L.A., Drake and Josh go after them to get them, and I'm pretty sure they get abducted by the mob, and they get taken hostage by drug traders or something like that because Megan accidentally gets the iPod that instead of having music on it had the specs to make fake $100 bills on it. And so they about get murdered by the mob because they accidentally caught them making fake $100 bills.
Dan Schneider has been making family-friendly programming for Nickelodeon since the 90s.
It's good though.
Such as that episode of Drake and Josh.
It was a movie, so we had it on a tape, and I used to have like the actual commercials memorized between the little bits because we taped it on the TV and I watched it so much. It was definitely a weird thing.
But anyway, like I was saying, I'm going to plug this album because I think everybody should listen to it if you're a fan of the Ninja Turtles, because it'll definitely make you appreciate the good Ninja Turtle stuff better.
Yeah, legally listen to it. Pirating's not cool.
Yeah, it's on Apple Music.
It's on iTunes. It's on. There's people on YouTube that have uploaded it.
So, which they've probably done it illegally, but
Oh yeah, so find a legal. Yeah, I'm sure it's on Spotify too. Speaking of Spotify, we're on Spotify.
we are on Spotify.
It's a really cool feeling to open Spotify and listen to something that you're in. I only ever listened to like 30 seconds of the podcast, but I just like hitting play and going, that's my voice and I'm on Spotify.
And we're not saying it to be like, yeah, we're on Spotify, screw everybody else. Like,
it just makes me feel good.
yeah, it's like we put a lot of effort into sitting at a table and talking about stuff people don't care about for an hour.
We also watched some good things this week.
Yeah.
Compared to the album was definitely a low light compared to these highlights.
Coming out of their shells is definitely the low point of this week, and I had listened to it in the shower, so at least I was able to keep my mind preoccupied while I was listening to it.
So we watched some good things this week too. Well, we already talked about we got to the Trunks time travel stuff in Dragon Ball Z,
And it's cool.
It's finally getting good. There's violence.
There's blood.
The main villain that got beat at the end of the last season comes back as a cyborg, and you're like, oh, this is going to be really cool. And he immediately gets cut into a million pieces.
And blasted.
It's awesome. There needs to be more violence in this show.
Also, your least favorite character got almost dead, but then they gave him a magic bean, so he's not dead.
There's a character named Yamcha.
I
got the good explanation. So on this team of like superhero people, you got Goku, who's like the strongest being on the universe. So it's like you're Superman, right? And then you got Piccolo, who's this alien who's almost like around as strong as Goku is. So he's kind of also like Superman. And then also you got Vegeta, who is
pretty much the same level,
exactly like Goku. So you basically got a team of 3 Supermen, and then they've got Krillin, who is the strongest human being on the planet and can shoot beams out of his hands and can make a giant disc that cuts people in half.
You forgot Gohan.
Well, I haven't got... Gohan's also the son of Goku, so he's like Superman's son, so he's really strong and powerful too. And then there's a few others. And then you got Yamcha, who is a guy who plays baseball. So it's like having a team of 10 Supermen and then Sammy Sosa.
He happens to play he plays baseball, and he happens to know how to fight,
but not even very well.
Yeah, because Yamcha in the show, like in the original Dragon Ball, he was like a main character, and he was like a staple character because there was no super powered things that were going around killing him.
And so I didn't watch the original Dragon Ball. We just jumped right into Z. And the very first fight he's in, he gets grabbed by one of the minions of the bad guy, kamikazed, and immediately dead.
So look up...
the 5-year-old boy does better than the guy who claims to be a good fighter and a good baseball player, and he dies immediately. And then then
he's dead for 2 seasons.
Then he comes back to life, and the very first time he fights somebody again, he gets stabbed through the chest by a guy's hand, and they bring him back instead of letting him die. Because he's so integral to the team.
And he even... After they heal him, and he's like, I got to tell them that they're absorbing power or whatever. And then he's debating, like, maybe I shouldn't go to the fight. I'll probably just get in the way. And then the 2 other people leave. He's like, no, I'm going to go to the fight. I need to help. It's like
It's like absorbing the power of an average man. The bad guys got no stronger at all because Yamcha is useless. I wish he had been hit by a semi-truck while he was in that town.
He's not even funny.
He's dumb. He's a waste of a space character.
Like, you could argue that, yeah, Krillin's stronger than him, but at least Krillin's funny.
Krillin's girlfriend was made up for the show and only in like 6 episodes. And she could probably do better fighting the bad guys than he can. And he's trained. He's stupid. We also watched... Justice League Dark in our continued adventures of watching the DC animated movies.
So, the last 5 movies have mostly just been Batman movies.
Yeah, we got to the first 2 were Justice League movies, and then there's like 3 or 4 Batman movies.
And then we get to Justice League Dark, and it's called Justice League Dark. And the Justice League is in it for 5 minutes, and then it's just Batman. He's the only Justice League member you see for the rest of the movie.
He makes a new Justice League, I think is the point. So the Justice League Dark is a team of Justice League that fight against dark magic.
So there's like Constantine.
So there's an
and-
alcoholic
yeah.
who has magic powers.
He can
There's a Knight of the Round Table that turns into a giant demon that can only speak in rhymes.
There's a ghost.
There's a ghost that you can't see because he got murdered while he was doing a trapeze thing. And there's a woman who is a actual magician, like a stage magician that just happens to actually have powers. And they're trying to stop an evil guy from... the plot's kind of stupid. What is he from? From like medieval times.
Camelot.
He's
From Camelot.
He's like an evil magician guy, and he dies, and then he manipulates some guy with magical cancer to bring him back to life, and then he dies like immediately. And he was voiced by that one guy, Dr. Octopus.
Oh,
Yep,
Al Molina. Al Molina.
Yeah, so they got him to come in to voice a guy for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's not. He's probably only in the movie screen time wise for 5 or 6
That's
minutes.
such a waste of potential.
They freaking. Oh, should I spoil it? Because
I already said that he comes back, and that's the whole twist.
well, I was going to talk about somebody dying and them not resolving
it.
it. Yeah, they kill Swamp Thing at the end of it, and then they never resolve it. So Swamp Thing, as far as everybody knows, is dead forever.
So Swamp Thing's like a pretty cool character. He's in Injustice. Like, he's been getting more mainstream stuff. He had a TV show.
It got
recently.
canceled after, what, 8 episodes, though?
But that was because of like tax breaks or something. Like, they financially couldn't make any more. But he's really cool, and he's in this movie. And then right towards the end, he was only in the movie for like 5 minutes, and then he comes back at the end to help them fight. And he gets separated. So the bad guy separates the human from the swamp stuff. So he no longer has powers. His lifeless body falls 14 stories onto the ground and splats. And then the plant stuff goes away, and that's it. They never talk about him again. Nobody's like, oh, Swamp Thing died. Nobody acknowledges that maybe he's alive. He just disappears during this fight, this 5-minute fight with Dr. Octopus. It's ridiculous. It's such a waste of a cool character.
So they killed off one of the coolest characters.
They can't kill Yamcha in Dragon Ball Z.
But they can kill Swamp
They
Thing.
can kill Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing's so cool. It makes me mad.
Swamp Thing didn't get blown up by a minion.
Speaking of demons, though, we've also been playing Doom.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
So, Doom, for those of you that don't know, is a really fun... It's a game where you're playing a guy who's stopping an invasion of demons
On Mars.
on Mars. So, like, they accidentally opened a portal to hell, and these demons are coming in, and you're supposed to stop them. And
It
it's
is
just...
It is the most gratuitous amount of violence you could ever
Well,
wish
besides
for.
Mortal Kombat.
Well, yeah, but
Because you're fighting demons, so there's not real, like, guts. It's more just, like...
blood.
They crack open and there's some blood. So it's really not...
Well-
it's semi-tame.
It's well, yeah, I guess. I think what most people think about when they think of Doom, like if you're gonna get controversial about it, is people don't like the satanic imagery in it.
But also, you're fighting against the satanic imagery is the point. Like, you're not a demon doing bad things. You're a dude fighting the bad things.
Trying to get the demons out of the world. Because on when the original Doom came out in the 90s, there was that big controversy of the satanic imagery and saying it was promoting Satanism and whatever.
But he was killing the demons.
But one of the game developers, who is a Mormon and worked on this game, had even said, it's not satanic, you're killing the bad guys.
Like, that's... Oh, it's so... I don't understand people's... I don't know. I don't get it. Boom, we're cutting in because we forgot to talk about this the first time. Doom Eternal came out this week along with Animal Crossing New Horizons. So Doom is the sequel to the game where you go and you kill all the demons, and it's really cool. And then Animal Crossing is a game where you get a house and then you are immediately in debt and you have to earn money to pay off this guy. You're doing chores. You're fishing, you're building a house, you're paying off debt, and more people are buying this game than they're buying the fun game where you get to murder bad guys.
Do you know another name for Animal Crossing is? Life.
Boring. Well, not life, because I'm not a hedgehog person. I guess I could be a hedgehog person. I could just decide I'm a hedgehog person. I could be a furry. Just start dressing up like a hedgehog and go, I'm a hedgehog.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why people are so into this game. Because, like, from what I'm hearing, it's literally the exact same game every time it comes out. It's just like every sequel is the same thing. And it's just you're paying taxes. And you're paying off debt, and you're fishing, and you're building a house, and, like, you design your own t-shirt or something. It's like, why are we still funding this?
I need someone to explain to me the appeal of Animal Crossing, because this game, like, I've known this game has existed for a long time. I've never gotten the appeal of it. It looks boring.
And Animal Crossing characters are the worst characters in Smash Bros.
Aside from the Mii characters, but
The Mii characters can be okay.
and every
But
reskin.
it's just you're playing as a little dog person
Who
and you just
shoots-
kind of go and you punch people, or you can play as the person in the armor that shoots guns and explodes things, or you can play as the giant monkey man, or you can play as the guy who's a giant turtle that can crush you with his bare hands. But no, I'm gonna play as a little doggy that goes. That's stupid. You're stupid. Your opinions are invalid.
You know who else? Okay, you said the Animal Crossing is like, you could play as the little doggy, like when you're playing as a villager.
I think so. Yeah.
You know what's a better doggy to play as? Duck Hunt.
I was gonna say underdog.
But
They should add an underdog to Smash Bros.
add underdog to Smash.
Smash, 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 smash,
We
smash.
haven't played Smash in a while.
We need to play Smash Bros again. We can do that.
But
Well, I don't-
Doom, we gotta get through
But-
Doom.
Doom Eternal. I wanted to get the special edition, whatever.
It comes
'Cause
with a helmet.
It came with the guy's helmet. It came with a cassette tape that had the soundtrack on it. It came with I don't care about any of the other stuff, but that's cool. In the game, there's a skin where you're the dude in this big armor, but you're wearing a unicorn costume.
That is amazing.
On top of your helmet, there's a unicorn, like just a little like stuffed animal thing on your head, and you have wings and you're pink. And it's amazing because you can kill demons while you're dressed up like. What do we have to say about Doom Eternal?
It looks good. You
Doom
get
Eternal looks really good.
you get a red sword that looks like a lightsaber.
It's like a lightsaber, but like a sword. Like it looks like a sword,
Mhm.
but it's lit up like a lightsaber, and it looks awesome. And I haven't seen gameplay, but I would like to murder some.
I
bad
kind of
guys
want to
with it.
lay off the gameplay because I don't want to spoil it. Like
That too.
not because
I mean,
because Doom's known for its amazing, compelling story, but
last night I read the whole entire Wikipedia because I don't like new things. I like to know what it is, and so I like to get things spoiled for me. When we first started watching Dragon Ball Z, I just started getting stuff spoiled for me left and right. And I was like, that's fine. I really don't care. I'm really bad. Like, a lot of the movies I'll just look up before I go see just because, like, I don't really care. Spoilers don't bother me. I'm fine with things getting spoiled for me and then seeing how they play on the screen. The only time I've actually, like, actively avoided spoilers was, I think, when The Force Awakens came out and when Last Jedi came out. But I was kind of like... I was Googling stuff before we went and saw
Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker. I was Googling
That was my
stuff.
birthday present. We went to see that for my birthday.
And I was Googling stuff before I went in because I wanted to know how the Emperor came back to life.
But they don't even explain how he came back to life.
You're right. They didn't explain it until they wrote a book. And in the book that you have to... I really like Star Wars, but they do some stupid things.
Yeah, they do.
I like the new movie, but to understand exactly how the Emperor comes back, you have to read a book. And even in the book, they don't explain it super well.
Yeah, because I go to a Star Wars movie and I think, wow, I can't wait to read the book of what I just watched.
I don't know that I guess I'm kind of trying to read
The novelization, Return of the Jedi?
Return of the Jedi, and I don't know. I'm not a big reader. If there's not pictures, if there's not a comic book, I can't stay. I need violence.
The only reason that you have that book is because we went on a trip to Des Moines. I can't remember what our original intent was to go to Des Moines for.
But we were gonna go shopping for something,
And it was closed or they didn't have it or something. We went to a store called Half Price Books.
and we just bought books.
We drove an hour away from where we're at.
2 hours round trip
2 hours round
to
trip
buy some books.
I bought a copy of The Green Mile by Stephen King because I like Stephen King
And
books.
then for like a week, we went to bed half an hour early, and we were just reading our beds, and then we never did that again.
Yeah.
But that's pretty sad. Our separate beds, Grandma.
Yeah.
I'm a little mad about that.
It's so funny though. Your dad will appreciate that.
My dad will appreciate that. My mom was mad that well, no, she wasn't mad. She just pointed out that Dad and my sister weren't mentioned in last week's because I talked about my brother and I talked about my mom. So my sister makes TikToks and my dad likes Star Trek. My dad. So I've actively watched a little bit of The Next Generation, like back when I was living in the dorms and the Wi-Fi was fast enough to stream, because I like it, but I've never like gone on my way to watch it. But I am fairly certain I've probably seen every episode of all of the, not the original, but like Star Trek Next Generation and the one with the lady and they're stuck in outer space, not deep space. So two of them. I'm pretty sure I've seen all the episodes at least 3 times, just inadvertently, because my dad has watched those series at least 10. Just like all the time, which is fine because they're good, but I've never seen anybody that committed to watching shows that often. Like, I really like The Flash and The Green Arrow. I've watched through the shows maybe once. What?
What was that noise?
The dog's upstairs? You have a really fat dog that likes to go toom on the ground, and we're in the basement, so it sounds like somebody's just died.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
My bass over there, when you got in the case the other day, you didn't lean it against the wall right, and then at like 9 o'clock the next morning, it slammed on the ground, and I thought your brother fell through the ceiling. I had no idea what that sound could have been, and I was like, I don't see any holes in the ceiling, and I went back to bed. All right, now that we've added our extra thing right here, we're going to cut back to the regular part of the podcast, and then, because this was a little added thing, so...
Yeah, you're welcome.
Cut it right here. I had my first online lesson today, where I was supposed to do drumming stuff like online. So I have this like practice pad and I pretend to play snare drum on this piece of rubber, and the Wi-Fi here is so slow that my director teacher guy can neither hear me play or see me play. So after like 15 minutes, he was like, "Yeah, that was really good. Just practice this week and we'll do this again next week."
For some reason, my piano lesson yesterday went better than that because I did the piano lesson over the same Skype thing, and it was fine.
But instead, I just stood there for 15 minutes beating on a piece of rubber for no apparent reason because he couldn't hear it.
Paradiddle, paradiddle, paradiddle.
Paradiddle, 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 paradiddle.
Bun patty, bun patty, bun patty, bun patty, patty, bun patty, patty.
We didn't talk about the other food that makes me mad. Speaking of bun patty, bun. There's a new Mountain Dew flavor. We didn't even talk about this when we were talking about Mountain Dew. Well, not gross.
Well, we don't know yet, but the price is kind of gross.
So there's a new flavor of Mountain Dew that's only at Walmart that just came out this week in the very beginning of spring, right? It's called Frostbite, which automatically, that's the stupidest name you could have for a spring flavor of Mountain Dew. It's got a shark on the cover. Because, you know, sharks are in the Arctic Ocean all the time, swimming around underneath the ice, because that's where they love to be. And it's like $6 for a 12-pack. That's like $1. That's like $2. How many dollars?
50 cents.
It's like 50 cents a can. I guess technically it's cheaper than buying a can at like a gas station. But it's still outrageous, and it makes me mad. And I want to try it, but they only sell it at Walmart, and you can only buy it in a 6-pack of bottles or a 12-pack of cans. And plus, it's terrible.
And plus, going to Walmart's dangerous now. Yeah. Because recently there was a corona outbreak, and one of the people that had it worked at Walmart. So now,
and instead of Walmart actually telling us this, nobody has actually, like, it's just unofficial information that we're hearing from everybody.
My aunt posted on Facebook because she had to go to Walmart today to get she said she was getting essential stuff. And she witnessed a 2-year-old kid pick up a package of Peeps, lick it, and put it back on the shelf. And the dad just went, "Huh, don't do that. It's a me."
That was really loud. I feel like you just peaked right there.
I peaked in high school. What are you talking about?
You did peak in high school. Yeah, you have. So you're in these group chats with all your friends from high school and stuff. I have never seen them. I've met, maybe I've met a couple of them, but you don't hang out with anybody. I'm the only person you hang out with at the college.
I'm the only person in my class that I hung out with really in high school that went to. I'm crap. I went to.
I'll just bleep it or cut it. Oh, he said where he goes to college, and in case you're from really far away, we don't want you to stalk us or something. Like, I don't know why we care, but we're gonna care at least for a little bit, just in case we get some like extra listeners. But I'm not anticipating it. Speaking of extra listeners, if you get the chance, watch this on YouTube, because if we get more people to watch our YouTube videos, we can maybe make money someday, and it'd be great. Because like 13 cents is pretty cool. You can say, "Hey, I made this 13 cents by talking into a microphone."
You could be like, "Hey, that's like 2 cans of pop."
Yeah, you'd be like, me and my stupid friend sat at a table and we talked about stupid things for an hour, and then we made 13 cents off of it because like 1,000 stupid people decided to watch it.
1,000 people that have just as much to do as we do.
I mean, 1,000 very smart people. Our audience members are very nice and very smart.
1,000 people that love Rick and Morty and understand the humor. I'm wearing my Pickle Rick shirt right now.
Rick and Morty is so stupid. Everybody likes Rick and Morty so much, and I tried watching the first episode, and then they shoved something up the main character's butt, and I went, "Nope, I'm out. This is weird." He was like smuggling a seed or something, and I couldn't do it anymore.
It's because you don't understand.
My
the
ex-girlfriend was also really into Rick and Morty, so that kind of ruined it for me too. I'm just gonna keep unloading my emotional baggage on every one of these episodes, and eventually, once we get enough, you could just piece together my whole entire last relationship.
I mean, better the episode than just me all the time.
True.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, if you get the coronavirus and die, would I just like sit here and talk to myself? Because like I don't want to stop it because I'm paying. We're paying like $6 a month or whatever to get this put on all the streaming platforms, and that'd be a waste of money to not continue. But I also don't have any other friends that I would rather do this with. My dad wants me to do the podcast with him, but he's not funny.
What'd you tell him?
I told him he's not funny enough. This episode's been a little more informative than funny though too, but I feel like we've explained it in an entertaining way.
Yeah, we've explained why you should watch or listen to the Ninja Turtle album.
My girthy hips are in pain right now. Again, this chair is awful.
Well, you know, as soon as we get some more listeners on YouTube, we make money. I'll
buy a nice chair.
We can buy the Batman gaming chairs that are like $600.
I just want a wider chair.
They have these gaming chairs that they say they're the Batman Batcave gaming chairs.
It's an office chair with arms and Batman's logo sewed into it.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
It looks like
$600.
It looks like a cool gaming chair, but I'll literally.
You can go to Walmart and spend $30 and get a nice office chair.
And put a Batman sticker on it.
And put a Batman sticker on it. That's like $1, if even that.
You get a whole sheet of Batman stickers for like $2.
I say if even that. I realized a lot because last episode you said we recorded it at 11 o'clock at night, and I went if even that, and then I cut off because I realized that made no sense. Yeah, just like the ending of this podcast episode might make no sense.
Wait, it's over?
It's pretty close to over. My hips are in pain.
Well, as long as your hips are hurting,
so is my heart.
Your heart's always hurting.
My hips don't lie, and they say they're ready to be done. Oh la la, my hips don't lie. Now the episode's over.
Oh no.